Imagine discovering your father's identity after 15 years of secrets, only to learn he abandoned you. Join Maria Lopez and her son Gabriel as they confront a powerful man in a courtroom battle for truth and justice. Will they win against all odds? Stay tuned to find out. Maria Lopez glided quietly through the grand living room of Jonathan Clark's mansion, her cloth wiping down gleaming surfaces. The space carried the aroma of lemon polish and blooming flowers, a fragrance tied to her time here. Jonathan's voice echoed faintly from the hallway, soft and unclear, as he spoke confidently on a call. Maria's chest tightened, a reflex she couldn't shake. She hadn't exchanged words with him in weeks, not since revealing her pregnancy. That moment haunted her, his icy words carved into her thoughts. "This can't happen," he'd declared, striding across his office as Maria stood rooted. "It'll destroy everything. My family. My image. I'll compensate you, but you must go." Yet no payment ever arrived, her hand stilled on the polished mahogany, startled by Jonathan's nearing steps. Maria swiftly resumed cleaning, her motions automatic, gaze lowered. Jonathan stepped in, phone still at his ear, ignoring her presence entirely. He passed by as though she were invisible. "Yes, we must lock in those deals by Friday," he stated, his voice trailing off down the corridor. A door shut signaled his withdrawal to his office. Maria let out a slow breath, relief tangled with irritation. She hurried to complete her work, desperate to escape the mansion and its heavy memories. Now, 15 years on, Maria stood in her cramped kitchen, the sizzle of onions cutting through the air. The tiny space brimmed with dishes and grocery sacks cluttering the counters. She moved deftly, chopping vegetables and tending a pot, the sense of garlic and tomato sauce overtaking old mansion memories. Her son, Gabriel, 15, sat at the table, engrossed in a textbook, his dark hair falling over his brow as he jotted notes. Maria glanced at him, love and concern flooding her heart. He resembled Jonathan strikingly, sharp features, serious demeanor, but Gabriel's eyes held a kindness Jonathan lacked. "Hey, Mom," he said, eyes still on his book. "Hi, sweetheart," Maria answered, mustering a smile. She set her bag aside and focused on dinner prep. Gabriel observed her from the table. At 15, he was lanky, with his mother's dark eyes and thick hair. His sharp gaze missed nothing, always probing. Tonight, his face seemed unusually grave. "Mom, can we talk?" he asked, his voice piercing the quiet. Maria's knife paused mid-chop. She met his gaze, sensing his unease. "Of course," she said warily. "What's on your mind?" Gabriel pulled a photo from his backpack and slid it across the table. Maria's breath hitched at the sight, a snapshot of her and Jonathan from a long-ago party. She recalled that night vividly, their laughter, the fleeting sense of security in his embrace. Now, the image struck like a blow. "Where'd you get this?" she asked, voice taut. "In one of your old boxes," Gabriel replied, his tone searching. "I was digging for family photos for a school project. Mom, is this man my father?" Maria's shoulders sagged. She'd hoped to shield Gabriel from this truth forever, to spare him the pain of his father's rejection. But the photo made denial impossible. "Yes," she whispered. "Jonathan Clark is your father." Gabriel's eyes widened, anger and betrayal flashing across his face. "Why didn't you tell me? Why hide it?" "I wanted to protect you from hurt," Maria said, her voice cracking. "Jonathan rejected us. When I told him I was pregnant, he fired me. He offered no help." Gabriel shoved his chair back, the scrape loud in the stillness. "So he's just ignored us all this time? Acted like we don't exist?" Maria nodded, tears brimming. "I reached out, but he never answered. I didn't want you growing up feeling unwanted." Gabriel's fists clenched. That's not right. He should answer for this. He can't just walk away. Maria shook her head. I've tried to let it go, worked hard to provide for us. I didn't want you to feel you needed him. But I do, Gabriel insisted. I need to know who he is, and he must acknowledge me. You shouldn't have faced this alone. Maria studied her son, seeing her own stubborn resolve in his eyes. His demand for justice echoed her suppressed longing. Perhaps it was time to face the past. All right, she said softly. We'll take action. I'll find a lawyer, and we'll hold him accountable. Gabriel's face softened, gratitude replacing anger. Thank you, Mom. As they ate dinner, a quiet determination settled over them. The long-buried secret was exposed, and there wasn't turning back. Maria felt an odd relief, knowing they'd tackle this together. Maria rested on the faded couch in their living room, hands folded in her lap. The worn fabric felt comforting, a familiar haven. She watched Gabriel pace the small space, fingers raking through his hair, a nervous tic she'd passed down. Silence hung heavy, thick with unasked questions. Gabriel halted and faced her. Why keep him a secret? He pressed, voice low but firm. I've asked about my dad for years, and you said he was gone, didn't want us. Why? Maria met her son's gaze, his pain and confusion piercing her. She'd spent years guarding him from the cruel truth, believing it was best. Now, that choice seemed flawed. I thought ignorance was kinder, she said gently. I wanted you to live free of the sting of knowing your father rejected us. Gabriel's jaw tensed. I deserved to know, Mom. He's my father. I should have had a say in how I felt, not had it hidden. Maria sighed, the weight of his words pressing on her. I see that now. Maybe I erred in shielding you, but I feared you'd feel unworthy. I only meant to protect you. Gabriel folded his arms, staring at the floor. You carried it all alone, he said, voice quieter. You worked so hard, and I never got why you were exhausted, why you took extra jobs. It was him, wasn't it? Maria nodded, her throat tightening. Yes. After he fired me, I scrambled for work. It was tough, but I did what I had to for us. Did you ever try contacting him? Gabriel asked, curiosity mixed with hurt. A few times, Maria admitted. I sent letters, called his office, but he ignored me. We were nothing to him. I stopped trying, unwilling to waste effort on someone so indifferent. Gabriel's face hardened. That's unjust. He can't dismiss us like that. He's my father. He must own up to his actions. Maria looked at her son, pride mingling with sorrow. Gabriel's fierce will mirrored her own. She knew he wouldn't drop this. What's your plan, Gabriel? She asked quietly. How do you want to proceed? Gabriel sat beside her, expression resolute. We confront him. He needs to see he can't erase us. I want to meet him, speak to him, and make him pay for what he did to us. Maria hesitated, dread rising at the thought of facing Jonathan. But Gabriel's conviction was unshakable, and she couldn't deny his right to confront his father. Maybe it was time to stop fleeing the past. Okay, she said slowly. If this is your wish, I'll support you. I'll find a lawyer to guide us. But brace yourself, Gabriel. This won't be simple. Jonathan's influential, and we'll fight to dodge responsibility. Gabriel nodded, eyes alight with anger and hope. I know it's tough, but I don't care. I have to do this for us. He can't keep acting like we're invisible. Maria pulled Gabriel into a tight embrace. He returned it fiercely, and for a moment, the burden of years eased. They were united now, making the future less intimidating. Pulling back, Maria offered a faint smile. We start tomorrow, she said. I'll find a lawyer to help us make Jonathan face the truth. Gabriel mirrored her smile, his tension easing. Thank you, Mom, he said softly, for everything. Maria nodded, a fresh resolve taking hold. For years, she'd dreaded facing the man who'd hurt her so deeply. But with Gabriel beside her, she felt emboldened. It was time to stop hiding and fight for their due. The evening unfolded with a rare calm. Maria cooked dinner, and they ate in the small kitchen. Their talk lighter now. Yet beneath it lay a shared resolve, an awareness that their lives were shifting. As Maria washed dishes, she glanced at Gabriel, back at the table with a book. She reflected on the years spent shielding him from pain, trying to spare him. Perhaps she'd been wrong, but now they faced reality as a team, and hope stirred within her. After dinner, Gabriel retreated to his room, leaving
Maria shook Linda's hand, noting its firm grip. Gabriel followed suit, and they settled before her desk. The room brimmed with books and legal papers, organized yet bustling. Linda clasped her hands, focusing on Maria. "I reviewed the details you shared by phone," she said, "but I'd like your full story, in your words. No rush." Maria glanced at Gabriel, then at Linda. She steadied herself and began. "I worked as a maid for Jonathan Clark," she said. 16 years ago, we had an affair. When I learned I was pregnant with Gabriel, I told Jonathan. He reacted badly." "What did he say?" Linda asked, her voice steady, eyes keen. Maria paused, recalling Jonathan's chilling tone. "He said a child would ruin everything, his family, his reputation. He offered money to make me disappear. I refused, hoping he'd reconsider, take responsibility. Instead, he fired me. No severance, no aid, nothing." Gabriel's jaw tightened, but he stayed quiet, letting Maria speak. "I wrote to him, called, but he never replied. I raised Gabriel alone, taking any job to keep us afloat." Linda nodded, scribbling notes. "You're seeking a lawsuit for child support and wrongful firing, correct?" "Yes," Maria said, voice stronger. "Jonathan's ignored us too long. Gabriel deserves to know his father, and Jonathan must answer for his actions." Linda set her pen down, leaning forward. "You have a solid case, Maria. We can pursue child support based on Jonathan's wealth, which is likely significant. The wrongful termination claim is strong, given your dismissal's context. We'll need evidence, letters, records, witnesses to back your account." Maria nodded. "I kept some letters I sent him. Other staff from his house might speak up. They knew about us, even if it wasn't public." "Excellent," Linda said. "We'll file the suit and subpoena Jonathan's financials. Once we have a court date, we'll prep you both for tough questions. These cases get personal, and Jonathan's lawyers will try to undermine you. Be ready." Gabriel, silent till now, spoke. "Can he make us look bad?" Linda met his gaze, serious. "He'll try, but truth is your ally. We'll highlight Jonathan's actions, his affair, his refusal to support you, your unjust firing. Public opinion matters. Once the media catches this, Jonathan's reputation is vulnerable. We'll leverage that." Maria felt a spark of hope at Linda's assurance. "What's our next step?" she asked. "I'll draft the lawsuit," Linda replied. "Meanwhile, collect any evidence, letters, records, proof of your employment or affair. We need a robust case from the start. I'll contact potential witnesses." Maria nodded, her mind racing with names of former co-workers who might help. Linda stood, signaling the meeting's end. "I'll update you soon. We're starting a battle, but it's winnable. It won't be easy. Jonathan will use his wealth and influence to intimidate. But we won't yield." Gabriel rose, shaking Linda's hand firmly. "Thank you, Miss Parks. We'll do whatever it takes." Maria echoed him, grasping Linda's hand. "Thank you, Linda. Your help means the world." Linda smiled. "I stand for justice, Maria, and for what's right. We'll ensure Jonathan Clark faces the truth." Leaving the office, Maria felt fear and relief intertwine. The weight of their path was dawning. This wasn't just Gabriel's fight, it was hers too, about reclaiming her dignity against the man who'd wronged her. Outside, sunlight bathed the city, alive with everyday bustle. Maria and Gabriel walked together, their shared burden heavy but bearable. "Do you think we'll win?" Gabriel asked, breaking the quiet. Maria looked at him, his determination shining. I can't predict the outcome, Gabriel, but we're not alone anymore. That's a start. Gabriel nodded, his face softening. I'm proud of you, Mom. Maria smiled, warmth spreading within. I'm proud of us both. Whatever happens, we're in this together. They pressed on, purpose guiding their steps. The road ahead was daunting, but Maria felt a new strength. They were shaping their story, and that was a triumph already. Maria stood at the kitchen sink, hands submerged in sudsy water, scrubbing dinner plates. The window above revealed the city skyline, aglow with office and apartment lights. She tried to lose herself in the task's rhythm, but her thoughts circled back to Linda Park's meeting. Filing the lawsuit felt like a crushing load, blending hope with dread, a leap into the unknown. The phone's sharp ring jolted her. Maria dried her hands and grabbed it. Hello? Maria, it's Linda, the lawyer said, her tone brisk yet urgent. Brace yourself. The lawsuit was filed today, and it's already drawing media. Reporters may show up at your place or Gabriel's school. I'm sorry. This is typical for high-profile cases like Jonathan Clark's. Maria's stomach churned. I didn't expect it so soon, she said, voice unsteady. What do I do? Stay composed, Linda advised. Don't speak to reporters. Direct them to me. We must control the story. I'll release a statement for you, sticking to facts. Your wrongful firing, Jonathan's neglect of his son. Stay strong, Maria. This will pass. Maria nodded, unseen by Linda. Thank you. I'll be cautious. Hanging up, Maria stood frozen, grappling with the news. Media scrutiny was unprepared for terrain. The thought of reporters at her door, cameras flashing, filled her with unease. She wanted justice, not spectacle. A knock at the door startled her. Heart racing, she peered through the peephole. Two figures stood outside, one with a microphone, the other a camera over his shoulder, reporters. Maria Lopez, the woman called, voice muffled. We're with City News Network. Can we ask about your lawsuit against Jonathan Clark? Maria's hand shook on the doorknob. She steadied herself and spoke through the door. No comment. Please go. Maria, this is your chance to share your story, the reporter pressed. Jonathan Clark's powerful in this city. Don't you want your voice heard? No comment, Maria repeated, firmer. She waited until their footsteps faded, then stepped back, exhaling shakily. Gabriel emerged from his room, sensing the strain. Who was that? Reporters, Maria said, steadying her voice. They asked about the lawsuit. I sent them away. Gabriel's eyes widened. Already? That's wild. It'll be like this for a bit, Maria said. Linda warned me Jonathan's case would attract attention. We stay calm, don't talk. Linda's handling it. Gabriel nodded, his face troubled. I hate that they're making this a circus. This is our life, not their show. Maria crossed to him, wrapping him in a hug. I know, but we won't let them scare us. We're doing what's right. This is about justice, not their opinions. The next morning, Maria rose early, the prior day's events sharp in her mind. She moved through her routine, making breakfast, packing Gabriel's lunch. Voices outside hinted at a gathering crowd. Opening the door, she saw reporters on the sidewalk, turning with cameras and microphones. Maria, why sue Jonathan Clark now, after so long? One shouted. Were you fired over your relationship with him? Another called. Maria's pulse raced, but she kept her head down, guiding Gabriel to the bus stop. The questions blurred into noise. Gabriel's hand squeezed hers, a quiet anchor. At the stop, he turned to her. You okay, Mom? Maria nodded, heart still pounding. I'm fine. It's just a lot, but we'll manage. Don't talk about the case, okay? Not even to friends. I won't, Gabriel vowed. I just want to focus on school and ignore this. Maria watched him board the bus, his posture heavy with the situation's weight. Guilt gnawed at her. Had she done right by suing? But Jonathan's cold dismissal, years of silence, steeled her. This was for their future, not just the past. Back home, Maria flipped on the TV to the local news. Jonathan Clark's name dominated the screen, the lawsuit headline news. A reporter stood outside his office, addressing the camera. Sources near Jonathan Clark say he denies all claims and will fight in court, she said. Clark, a prominent businessman and philanthropist, hasn't spoken publicly. Yet this case has ignited public curiosity, with many probing the private life of a city elite. Maria switched off the TV, her thoughts reeling. Jonathan was already spinning the narrative, casting himself as the victim. She knew the fight would be hard, but his denials fueled her anger. He acted as if she and Gabriel were mere nuisances. The phone rang, and Maria answered, bracing for another reporter. It was Linda. "Maria, I've seen the news. How are you holding up?" "I'm managing," Maria said. "Reporters were outside all morning, but I'm silent." "Good," Linda said. "Stay resolute. This is expected. Jonathan will try to tilt the story his way, but truth is our strength. I've set a press conference for tomorrow. I'll field questions, but I'd like you there for support." Maria hesitated, dreading the spotlight. "Do I need to speak?" "No, your presence is enough," Linda assured. "It shows you're unafraid, that we're confident. Trust me, Maria, this makes him take us seriously." Maria nodded, though nervous. "Okay, I'll be there." Hanging up, Maria sat at the table, hands trembling. She gazed at a framed photo of her and Gabriel from his high school start, his smile radiant with hope. Determination surged. This was for Gabriel. For the years she'd toiled alone, they deserved truth and justice. A knock interrupted her. Expecting reporters, Maria checked the peephole and saw Rosa, a former maid from Jonathan's mansion. "Maria, it's Rosa," she called softly. "Can I come in?" Maria opened the door, relief washing over her. "Rosa, why are you here?" "I heard about the lawsuit," Rosa said, stepping inside. "I wanted to check on you and offer help." Maria's throat tightened. "You mean it?" Rosa nodded. "I remember how Jonathan treated you, firing you out of nowhere. It stayed with me. If you need me to testify, I'm in. You deserve justice, Maria." Tears welled as Maria hugged Rosa. "Thank you. Your support means everything." As they talked, Maria felt hope rise. She wasn't alone. Allies were stepping up, ready to speak truth. With Linda's guidance, they'd make Jonathan face his deeds. The media storm was daunting, but it brought supporters, tipping the scales in her favor. Maria sat at her kitchen table, old letters and documents spread out. Morning light spilled through the window, softening the paper's edges. Linda had asked for anything to bolster their case. Letters to Jonathan, firing records, proof of their relationship or wrongful dismissal. Maria's fingers traced the letters, each stirring memories. Gabriel entered, clutching a notebook. "Mom, I've been noting everything I recall about us, about when you mentioned my dad as a kid. It might help." Maria smiled, pride swelling. "Thank you, Gabriel. Every bit counts. Linda said we need the strongest case to make Jonathan face reality." Gabriel nodded, placing the notebook down. "I want to do all I can. He needs to know we won't be overlooked." The phone rang, quickening Maria's pulse. She answered. "Hello?" "Maria, it's Linda," the lawyer said, voice focused. "Your initial evidence is a solid start. We're on firm ground, but we need more. I've arranged a meeting with witnesses, former co-workers who knew of your relationship with Jonathan. I'd like you there." "Of course," Maria replied. "When?" "This afternoon," Linda said. "My office, 2:00. We'll review everything." "I'll be there," Maria said, glancing at Gabriel, who listened closely. After hanging up, Maria turned to him. "Linda's set a meeting with old co-workers. They'll aid our case." Gabriel's eyes brightened. "That's awesome. Who are they?" "Rosa's one," Maria said. "She's ready to testify. Others might join. People who saw Jonathan's treatment of me." Gabriel's face softened. "It's great they're helping. It proves they believe you." Maria nodded, determination renewed. "We're not alone, Gabriel. People remember and are ready to speak up." That afternoon, Maria and Gabriel reached Linda's office. The waiting area held two familiar faces from Jonathan's mansion, Rosa and Carla, a kind woman with graying hair and a warm smile. They rose as Maria entered, faces alight with recognition. "Maria," Rosa said, embracing her warmly. "It's been ages." Carla nodded, eyes gentle. "We heard what you're doing. We're here to support you however we can." Maria's throat tightened. "Thank you both. It means so much." Linda appeared, greeting them professionally yet warmly. "Thank you for coming," she said. "Let's go inside. We have much to cover." In Linda's office, they sat around a large table. Linda sorted her notes, then spoke. "Maria, Rosa, Carla, your presence is vital. Your testimonies could sway this case. I want to hear your memories, key incidents, interactions you saw between Maria and Jonathan." Rosa spoke first, voice steady. "I recall when Maria and Jonathan grew close. It wasn't hidden among staff. Jonathan lingered near her, chatting longer than needed. Once I overheard them in the study. Jonathan sounded upset, talking about secrecy, keeping things hidden. Maria looked shaken afterward. Linda nodded, noting details. "And you, Carla?" Carla leaned in, thoughtful. "I remember Maria's firing. It was abrupt, no warning. She was with us one day, gone the next. When I asked, the head housekeeper said Mr. Clark decided her services weren't needed. It made no sense. Maria was top-notch. We knew she was pregnant, and some suspected Mr. Clark was the father, but we stayed silent. Maria felt deep gratitude for these women. They'd seen and understood more than she'd realized." "Thank you," Linda said, glancing up. "Your accounts are vital. They show Jonathan's behavior, his relationship with Maria, his reaction to her pregnancy, her unjust firing. We'll need you to testify in court." Rosa and Carla nodded together. "We're in," Rosa said. "Maria and Gabriel deserve justice." Linda turned to Maria. "I've contacted former employees of Jonathan's firm. We must show his refusal to acknowledge Gabriel wasn't just personal, but had deep impact. The more we prove his actions harm, the stronger our case." Maria nodded. "I'll do whatever's needed." Linda smiled faintly. "Good. We'll fight, Maria, and we'll win." Leaving the office, afternoon sun cast long shadows. The city buzzed, oblivious to Maria's looming battle. Gabriel walked beside her, stride purposeful. "I feel better after that," he said. "It's good knowing people support us." Maria glanced at him, his resolve clear. "Yes, it is. We've got allies and the truth, Gabriel." Gabriel grew pensive. "Does Jonathan know about the witnesses yet?" Maria considered. "If not, he will soon. Linda said his legal team will learn as we gather testimonies. They'll see our case's strength." "I wonder how he'll react," Gabriel mused. "Will he try to stop them?" Maria shook her head. "I don't know, but we'll be ready for anything. We won't let him scare us. Linda's right. Truth is our weapon." Walking home, Maria felt calm resolve settle in. She'd avoided this fight for years, fearing its cost. But with Gabriel and allies like Rosa and Carla, she felt unstoppable. They were armed with witnesses, evidence, and a burning need for justice. Back at their apartment, Maria and Gabriel sat at the kitchen table. Maria sorted letters and documents neatly, prepping for the days ahead. Gabriel added to his notebook, jotting memories. "We'll make him see us," he said firmly. "He'll face what he did." Maria looked at her son, heart swelling with pride. "Yes, we will. No more shadows, no more silence." As daylight faded, they worked side by side, readying for the fight. The fear that once gripped Maria was gone, replaced by unyielding purpose. For the first time, Maria felt they were advancing, not just enduring, but claiming the future they deserved. Maria stood before the towering courthouse, its stone facade reaching into the gray sky. She gripped her purse, steadying her nerves. Gabriel stood beside her, offering a small, reassuring nod. "We're ready, Mom," he said, voice firm. Maria nodded, drawing courage from his strength. "We are. We've come too far to retreat." They passed through security into the busy hallway, voices and footsteps bouncing off marble walls. Reporters clustered near the courtroom, cameras poised. Maria kept her gaze down, avoiding their eyes. Her face had splashed across news reports, but she'd refused interviews, heeding Linda's advice. Let the court speak. Linda Parks waited outside the courtroom, sharp in a tailored suit. She greeted them warmly. "How are you both feeling?" "Nervous," Maria admitted, "but prepared." Linda nodded. "That's normal. We have a strong case. Trust the process. Answer truthfully. Truth is our side." Linda ushered them inside, where chatter hushed. Jonathan Clark sat at the defendant's table, composed in a dark suit. His lawyer, a tall man with a keen expression, murmured to him. Jonathan glanced at Maria, his face blank. Her heart raced, but she held her chin high, sitting beside Linda. Gabriel's presence beside her grounded her. The courtroom filled with journalists scribbling and spectators watching eagerly. Tension thickened the air. A gavel struck, and all rose as Judge Sarah Whitman entered, stern and fair in her 60s. She sat, adjusted her glasses, and surveyed the room. "Court is in session," she declared. "We're here for Maria Lopez versus Jonathan Clark on wrongful termination and child support. Let's begin." Linda rose, voice clear and confident. "Your Honor, we seek justice for Maria Lopez and her son, Gabriel. 16 years ago, Mr. Clark began a relationship with Ms. Lopez, leading to their son's birth. When Ms. Lopez shared her pregnancy, he fired her without cause, without pay, and without recognizing his duty. For years, Ms. Lopez raised Gabriel alone, with no aid from Mr. Clark, who cut all contact. We'll prove Mr. Clark shirked his legal duties and tried to bury his actions. It's time for accountability." Jonathan's lawyer, Mr. Simmons, stood, voice smooth. "Your Honor, Mr. Clark denies Ms. Lopez's claims. This lawsuit is an attempt to extort a respected businessman over a long-ended relationship. Mr. Clark recalls no affair with Ms. Lopez and sees this as a fabricated attack on his reputation for financial gain. We'll show her claims lack foundation and are driven by greed." Maria's hands balled in her lap, Gabriel stiffening beside her. Linda touched Maria's arm reassuringly, then called her to the stand. Maria walked forward, each step heavy, swore the oath, and faced the room. Linda approached, encouraging. "Maria, how did you meet Jonathan Clark?" she asked. Maria breathed deeply. "I began working as a maid for Jonathan Clark 17 years ago at his mansion with other staff. Our relationship started professionally, but after months, it turned personal. We saw each other secretly." "What happened when you learned you were pregnant?" Linda prompted. Maria's voice trembled, but she pressed on. "I told Jonathan, hoping he'd be glad, or at least supportive. He was furious, saying it would ruin his family, his reputation. He offered money to leave quietly. I refused, and the next day, he fired me. No severance, no help, just a letter ending my job." Linda nodded, facing the courtroom. "Did you try contacting Mr. Clark after your firing?" "Yes," Maria said. "I wrote letters, called his office, but he never responded. He ignored me and Gabriel."
Judge Whitman nodded. Accepted. Linda turned back. "Thank you, Maria. No further questions." Mr. Simmons rose, expression sharp. "Ms. Lopez, you claim a relationship with Mr. Clark, but where's proof? No photos, no gifts. Nothing of this alleged affair, correct?" Maria's heart pounded, but she stayed steady. "The letters are proof, and witnesses. Mansion staff saw us together. They knew. Talk spreads." "Ms. Lopez," Simmons said dismissively, "gossip isn't evidence. Isn't this lawsuit just about money, exploiting Mr. Clark's success?" "No," Maria said firmly. "It's about justice. About my son getting the truth and support he deserves." Simmons smirked. "No further questions, Your Honor." Maria returned to her seat, drained, yet defiant. Gabriel squeezed her hand. "You were great, Mom," he whispered. Linda called Rosa to testify, her account clear, detailing Maria and Jonathan's relationship, the abrupt firing, and Jonathan's behavior beforehand. Carla followed, affirming the mansion's tense mood, the rumors, and Maria's sudden dismissal. Linda submitted more evidence, pay stubs, letters, and staff testimonies supporting Maria's story. Her approach was thorough, painting Maria's life before and after Jonathan's rejection. As the day progressed, Jonathan took the stand, calm and assured. He answered Linda's questions evenly, denying any personal tie to Maria. "I had many staff," he said. "I recall only a professional link with Ms. Lopez. If she was fired, it was work-related, not personal." Linda's questions sharpened. "Mr. Clark, why was Maria's firing so sudden, right after she disclosed her pregnancy?" "I can't explain the timing," Jonathan replied slickly. "Staffing decisions were handled by my team, based on performance and needs." "Did you receive Ms. Lopez's letters seeking support?" Linda pressed. Jonathan shrugged. "I get many letters, Ms. Parks. I don't recall hers. My office staff likely handled them." Linda's jaw tightened, but her voice stayed even. "No further questions, Your Honor." As Jonathan stepped down, Maria's anger flared. His cool denials, his refusal to acknowledge Gabriel, felt like fresh betrayal. Gabriel stared at him, eyes burning with hurt and fury. The trial continued, both sides presenting witnesses and evidence, tension mounting. Maria watched, heart aching as Simmons twisted the truth, painting her as a schemer. But Linda's steady support, Rosa and Carla's testimonies, and the evidence fueled her hope. Closing arguments began. Linda stood, voice resolute. "This case isn't about wealth or fame. It's a mother's battle for justice, a son's right to his father's acknowledgement, and a man's refusal to own his deeds. Maria Lopez didn't choose this fight, but she's faced it with bravery and honor. The evidence is clear, the witness is reliable. Mr. Clark must be held accountable." Simmons followed, tone slick. "This case is a fabrication, an attempt to fleece a successful man for profit. No solid proof shows Mr. Clark's wrongdoing. We urge you to see this lawsuit as baseless, fueled by greed." The judge called a recess. Maria felt exhaustion hit, the day grueling, but they'd held firm. She looked at Gabriel, his eyes mixing hope and fear. "We gave our all, Mom," he said softly. "Whatever happens, we did everything." Maria nodded, taking his hand. "Yes, we did. Now we wait." Leaving the courtroom, reporters mobbed them, cameras flashing, questions flying. Maria held Gabriel's hand, pushing through, repeating Linda's mantra. No comment. Outside, the sun blazed, contrasting the courtroom's strain. Maria breathed deeply, feeling its warmth. The fight wasn't over, but they'd faced Jonathan Clark and stood tall. Whatever the result, they'd fought for truth, a victory in itself. The next morning, Maria sat at her kitchen table, eyes on the phone, fingers tapping nervously. The prior day's trial replayed vividly, each moment a vivid scene. She'd faced Jonathan, heard his denials, watched Simmons smear her. But Rosa and Carla's clear voices had shone through, upholding the truth. Today, Gabriel would testify. "Mom, you okay?" Gabriel's voice cut in, his face concerned from the doorway. Maria managed a small smile. "Just thinking, sweetheart. Today's tough, but you'll do great." Gabriel nodded, tension in his eyes. "I've planned what to say. I hope I don't forget." "You won't," Maria said, squeezing his hand. "Speak from your heart. Share what it's been like without a father. They need your story." Gabriel nodded, resolve hardening. "I will." In the courtroom, tension hung heavy, anticipation thick. Reporters packed the back, notepads ready. Jonathan sat with Simmons, frowning as they conferred. Maria and Gabriel sat by Linda, who reviewed notes. Judge Whitman entered, all rose, and the gavel signaled the start. Judge Whitman nodded. "Accepted." Linda turned back. "Thank you, Maria. No further questions." Mr. Simmons rose, expression sharp. "Ms. Lopez, you claim a relationship with Mr. Clark, but where's proof? No photos, no gifts, nothing of this alleged affair, correct?" Maria's heart pounded, but she stayed steady. "The letters are proof, and witnesses, Mansion staff saw us together. They knew. Talk spreads. Ms. Lopez, Simmons said dismissively, gossip isn't evidence. Isn't this lawsuit just about money, exploiting Mr. Clark's success? No, Maria said firmly. It's about justice, about Damson getting the truth and support he deserves. Simmons smirked. No further questions, Your Honor? Maria returned to her seat, drained yet defiant. Gabriel squeezed her hand. You were great, Mom, he whispered. Linda called Rosa to testify, her account clear, detailing Maria and Jonathan's relationship, the abrupt firing, and Jonathan's behavior beforehand. Carla followed, affirming the mansion's tense mood, the rumors, and Maria's sudden dismissal. Linda submitted more evidence, pay stubs, letters, and staff testimonies supporting Maria's story. Her approach was thorough, painting Maria's life before and after Jonathan's rejection. As the day progressed, Jonathan took the stand, calm and assured. He answered Linda's questions evenly, denying any personal tie to Maria. I had many staff, he said. I recall only a professional link with Ms. Lopez. If she was fired, it was work-related, not personal. Linda's questions sharpened. Mr. Clark, why was Maria's firing so sudden, right after she disclosed her pregnancy? I can't explain the timing, Jonathan replied slickly. Staffing decisions were handled by my team, based on performance and needs. Did you receive Ms. Lopez's letters seeking support? Linda pressed. Jonathan shrugged. I get many letters, Miss Parks. I don't recall hers. My office staff likely handled them. Linda's jaw tightened, but her voice stayed even. No further questions, Your Honor. As Jonathan stepped down, Maria's anger flared. His cool denials, his refusal to acknowledge Gabriel, felt like fresh betrayal. Gabriel stared at him, eyes burning with hurt and fury. The trial continued, both sides presenting witnesses and evidence, tension mounting. Maria watched, heart aching as Simmons twisted the truth, painting her as a schemer. But Linda's steady support, Rosa and Carla's testimonies, and the evidence fueled her hope. Closing arguments began. Linda stood, voice resolute. This case isn't about wealth or fame. It's a mother's battle for justice, a son's right to his father's acknowledgement, and a man's refusal to own his deeds. Maria Lopez didn't choose this fight, but she's faced it with bravery and honor. The evidence is clear, the witnesses reliable. Mr. Clark must be held accountable. Simmons followed, tone slick. This case is a fabrication, an attempt to fleece a successful man for profit. No solid proof shows Mr. Clark's wrongdoing. We urge you to see this lawsuit as baseless, fueled by greed. The judge called a recess. Maria felt exhaustion hit, the day grueling, but they'd held firm. She looked at Gabriel, his eyes mixing hope and fear. We gave our all, Mom, he said softly. Whatever happens, we did everything. Maria nodded, taking his hand. Yes, we did. Now we wait. Leaving the courtroom, reporters mobbed them, cameras flashing, questions flying. Maria held Gabriel's hand, pushing through, repeating Linda's mantra. No comment. Outside, the sun blazed, contrasting the courtroom's strain. Maria breathed deeply, feeling its warmth. The fight wasn't over, but they'd faced Jonathan Clark and stood tall. Whatever the result, they'd fought for truth, a victory in itself. The next morning, Maria sat at her kitchen table, eyes on the phone, fingers tapping nervously. The prior day's trial replayed vividly, each moment a vivid scene. She'd faced Jonathan, heard his denials, watched Simmons smear her. But Rosa and Carla's clear voices had shone through, upholding the truth. Today, Gabriel would testify. Mom, you okay? Gabriel's voice cut in, his face concerned from the doorway. Maria managed a small smile. Just thinking, sweetheart. Today's tough, But you'll do great. Gabriel nodded, tension in his eyes. I've planned what to say. I hope I don't forget. You won't, Maria said, squeezing his hand. Speak from your heart. Share what it's been like without a father. They need your story. Gabriel nodded, resolve hardening. I will. In the courtroom, tension hung heavy, anticipation thick. Reporters packed the back, notepads ready. Jonathan sat with Simmons, frowning as they conferred. Maria and Gabriel sat by Linda, who reviewed notes. Judge Whitman entered, all rose, and the gavel signaled the start. Linda called Gabriel to the stand. Maria's heart pounded as he walked forward, posture straight, face composed. He swore the oath, voice steady, and sat facing Linda. Gabriel, she began gently, what's it been like growing up without knowing your father? Gabriel inhaled deeply. It's been tough. I always wondered why he didn't want me. As a kid, I asked Mom about him constantly. She said he was gone, didn't want us. I didn't get why. I thought I'd done something wrong, that I wasn't enough. Tears stung Maria's eyes, Gabriel's pain raw. She'd tried to shield him, but the truth had seeped through. Gabriel continued, voice firmer. Growing up, I saw it wasn't my fault. It was his choices, his errors. But it hurt, seeing other kids with dads, wondering what that felt like, having someone there, caring, loving me as a father should. Linda nodded, encouraging. How did learning Jonathan Clark as your father feel? Gabriel's jaw tensed. I was angry. Angry he knew about me and did nothing, that he acted like I didn't exist for his convenience. My whole life, he's ignored me, like I'm a problem he could dismiss. What do you seek from this case, Gabriel? Linda asked. Why push your mother to sue? I want him to own up, Gabriel said staunchly. To admit what he did, recognize me. It's not just money. It's him facing his actions, seeing he can't treat people as disposable. Linda smiled softly. Thank you, Gabriel. No further questions. Maria's heart swelled with pride. Gabriel had spoken with raw honesty, bearing his pain and anger. She glanced at Jonathan, watching Gabriel with a guarded look. Simmons approached, expression calculated. Gabriel, you want Mr. Clark's acknowledgement, but you've had a good life with your mother, right? She's provided, cared for you. Why sue now, after years? Gabriel met Simmons' gaze, unflinching. Mom's done everything for me, worked tirelessly. But that doesn't erase that Jonathan Clark's my father, and he abandoned us. He left Mom to struggle while he lived as if we weren't real. That's not right or fair. Simmons smirked. So it's about fairness? Or money? Your mother could have sought support years ago, but didn't, true. Gabriel's face flushed. She didn't want trouble, didn't want worse. I urge this lawsuit because he must be accountable. It's about right, not money. No further questions, Simmons said, turning away. Gabriel returned, and Maria hugged him tightly. You were amazing, Gabriel, she whispered. I'm so proud. Linda called more witnesses, former staff, associates who saw Jonathan with Maria, experts on a father's absence's impact. Each testimony built Linda's case, a man who dodged duty to silence his past. Simmons kept casting doubt, questioning witnesses' memories, suggesting Maria's suit was a money grab. But Linda's preparation and consistent testimonies undermined him. Linda recalled Jonathan for cross-examination. The room stilled as he took the stand, face impassive. Linda approached, voice firm. Mr. Clark, you deny recalling a relationship with Maria Lopez, yet witnesses saw you with her, knew of your affair. Your response? Jonathan shifted, expression tightening. People gossip. That doesn't make it true. And the letters Maria sent asking for help? Linda pressed. You never got them? Jonathan shrugged. I get countless letters. I don't recall hers. Linda's tone hardened. Didn't you ignore Maria and Gabriel to protect your image, your family man reputation? Jonathan's eyes narrowed. That's false. I've always acted with integrity. Linda pressed on. Then why fire Maria without cause? Why ignore her outreach? Why pretend they don't exist? Jonathan's jaw clenched. I acted for my family and business. Ms. Lopez was fired for performance, nothing else. Linda stepped closer. You call ignoring your child, leaving him fatherless, the right choice? Jonathan's face stayed cold. I did what I thought best. Linda's voice softened, words sharp. Best for whom, Mr. Clark? Not Maria or Gabriel. No further questions. As Jonathan left, Maria felt torn. His denial stung, but Linda had exposed his flaws, revealing his true self. The day ended, and Judge Whitman called a recess. Maria and Gabriel gathered their things. Maria noticed Jonathan's wife, Samantha, in the back, their eyes meeting briefly, a flicker of hurt in hers. Outside, reporters swarmed, cameras flashing, questions flying. Maria gripped Gabriel's hand, pushing through, silent. They reached their car, the door shutting out the chaos. As they drove, Maria looked at Gabriel. You were incredible today. I know it was hard, but you spoke your truth. Gabriel gazed out, thoughtful. I just want him to admit it, to see we matter. Maria squeezed his shoulder. We're showing him, Gabriel. Every courtroom day we're showing him. Gabriel nodded, a faint smile forming. We'll make him see us, Mom. Driving through the city, Maria felt resolute. They'd laid the truth bare for all. Whatever the outcome, their courage was a triumph. The courtroom hummed with expectation. Maria sat at the plaintiff's table, hands clasped tightly. Gabriel sat beside her, eyes fixed forward. Linda sorted notes, calm yet grave. Across the room, Jonathan and Simmons sat, faces unreadable. Maria's heart pounded. Today brought the verdict. Weeks of strain, arguments, and raw emotion led here, the past's weight mingling with future hopes. Judge Whitman entered, silencing the room. All rose as she sat, gavel striking. Maria breathed deeply, Gabriel's hand squeezing hers, a reminder they were united. This court has a decision in Maria Lopez versus Jonathan Clark, Judge Whitman began, voice commanding. After reviewing testimonies, evidence, and arguments, I've concluded. Maria held her breath, eyes locked on the judge. On wrongful termination, Whitman continued. Evidence shows Maria Lopez was fired without cause after revealing her pregnancy. Staff testimonies and missing performance records confirm her dismissal tied to her relationship with Mr. Clark and her pregnancy. Maria felt relief surge, a vital win. She glanced at Gabriel, who offered a hopeful smile. Regarding child support, Whitman said, tone grave, evidence proves Mr. Clark knew of Ms. Lopez's pregnancy and provided no support for Gabriel Lopez. Letters and testimonies show his deliberate avoidance. Jonathan's face stayed blank, but his mouth tightened. Simmons shifted uneasily. This court rules, Whitman declared, that Jonathan Clark is Gabriel Lopez's father. Mr. Clark must pay child support retroactively from Gabriel's birth and ongoing until he's 18. Additionally, Maria Lopez will receive compensation for wrongful termination. A gasp swept the courtroom. Tears sprang to Maria's eyes, relief and joy overwhelming. She turned to Gabriel, grinning, eyes bright with emotion. Mom, we did it, he whispered, voice thick. Maria nodded, speechless, the moment's weight hitting her. They'd won. After years of silence and struggle, they were heard. Justice prevailed. Whitman's voice cut through. I hope this verdict brings resolution. Mr. Clark, I urge you to meet your duties earnestly. Court adjourned. The gavel fell and noise erupted. Reporters surged, cameras flashed, Voices rose. Linda hugged Maria, beaming. "You did it, Maria," she said. "You stood up and won. I'm so proud." "Thank you, Linda," Maria said, voice heavy with emotion. "I couldn't have without you." Gabriel turned to Linda, eyes shining. "Thank you for believing in us." Linda nodded, softening. "Your strength won this. It's your victory." Amid the chaos, Maria saw Jonathan aside, talking with Simmons, face pale, tense. Samantha stood nearby, arms crossed, her look mixing anger and disappointment. Their eyes met briefly, Jonathan's holding regret. Maria wondered what he felt. Anger, shame, or else. Jonathan and Samantha left, side by side but distant. Maria watched, closure settling in. Jonathan's life was altered, as hers had been years ago. The truth was out. He couldn't hide behind wealth or status. Linda guided Maria and Gabriel out, shielding them from reporters. "Let's get outside," she said. "We'll make a brief statement, then go home." Outside, the courthouse steps teemed with journalists and onlookers. Cameras flashed, microphones thrust forward. Linda raised a hand for quiet. "Today's verdict is a win for justice," she announced. Maria and Gabriel Lopez showed immense courage standing for their rights. This case proves that truth prevails, no matter one's power or wealth. They look forward to moving on, knowing they were heard. Linda nodded to Maria. Maria stepped forward, voice steady despite the crowd. "I want to thank everyone who supported us. It's been a long road, but we persevered. I'm grateful for Gabriel, his strength, and our allies. This victory isn't just ours. It shows everyone deserves justice, no matter who they are." Reporters shouted questions, but Linda led Maria and Gabriel to their car. They climbed in, the door muffling the din as they drove off. Maria leaned back, exhaling long. Gabriel turned, face quietly joyful. "It's over, Mom. We did it." Maria smiled, peace washing over her. "Yes, we did. Finally." At their apartment, Maria and Gabriel sat at the kitchen table, where they'd first discussed finding Jonathan. Sunlight streamed in, warming the room. Maria felt unburdened, as if years of weight had lifted. "What now?" Gabriel asked, curious. Maria paused. "We move forward. We use the support to better our lives, focus on your education, our future. We've endured so much. This is a fresh start." Gabriel nodded, thoughtful. "Will he ever want to be in my life?" Maria considered. "I don't know, Gabriel. That's his choice. But you know your worth, and you have a family who loves you." Gabriel smiled. "You're right, Mom. We don't need him to be happy. We have each other." Maria hugged him. "Yes, we do. That's enough." Sitting together, Maria felt hope bloom. They'd faced their past, conquered fears, and fought for right. Future challenges would come, but they were ready. Their strength was unshakable, and Maria felt true peace. The truth was out, justice served. Now they'd live the life they'd fought for. Weeks later, Maria felt the burden of past struggles easing. Child support payments allowed planning for a brighter future. She cleared debts and explored enrolling Gabriel in Crestwood High, known for its science and sports programs. Gabriel was thrilled at the prospect. One morning, Rosa visited, bringing a plant for their new life. Over coffee, they discussed the trial and its dent in Jonathan Clark's reputation. Rosa lauded Maria's bravery, saying it inspired others. Maria admitted her fears, but knew it was right for Gabriel. They shared pride in standing for justice. Later, watching a movie, Gabriel asked if Jonathan might seek a role in their lives. Maria was unsure, but assured him they'd face it together. Gabriel agreed Jonathan wasn't needed for their joy. They had each other, and that sufficed. The next morning, Maria felt invigorated by new possibilities. She and Gabriel planned his school enrollment and interests like gardening. Walking the neighborhood, Maria spotted an art class flyer at the community center. Inspired, she decided to revive a passion long shelved. She shared this with Gabriel, who suggested a joint cooking class. New skills and hobbies sparked excitement for what lay ahead. That night, lying in bed, Maria reflected on their path. They'd overcome immense hardship, emerging stronger, closer. They weren't defined by past pain, but by hope. As sleep came, Maria felt gratitude for the love and strength shaping their lives, confident in a bright future.